You can call me the Donut Lord. Sonic the Hedgehog is in theaters now. It stars James Marsden as a small-town cop who comes across an alien creature who happens to be Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic doesn't believe he fits in the Earth world, so he's trying to get to this other world, but because of seismic activities from Sonic, some super shady government organization led by Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey, comes to investigate, and Sonic and James Marsden go on a road trip, and that's basically what this movie is. First of all, what did I like about Sonic the Hedgehog? Well, I like the chemistry between Sonic and James Marsden, the Donut Lord. You will understand that joke in more context when you watch the movie, but I actually really like the dynamic between Sonic and James Marsden's character. The thing is I don't remember James Marsden's character's name. That's kind of honestly a problem with this movie, and I'll get into that more in a little bit. But I thought when they were on screen, they actually had some great chemistry. They had some great banter back and forth. They were bouncing off each other very well. It felt very organic, and it flowed naturally. That's what I need from a buddy type of movie like this. Jim Carrey as Robotnik. For the most part, I loved it. I loved how over-the-top Jim Carrey was as Robotnik, and I loved how over-the-top the character of Robotnik was supposed to be. This was honestly Jim Carrey tapping into his earlier roles, like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and Liar Liar, and The Mask, with like all the silliness and all the zaniness that happens within this movie. He brings all of that to the table with this character, and it made me just go, that's the Jim Carrey I remember. Brought me back to the yesteryears of like the early to mid 90s when I was like 3 or 5. I don't know how old I was when I first discovered Jim Carrey. In like in those early 2000s Jim Carrey movies like Bruce Almighty brought me back to those yesteryears, and it felt great to see Jim Carrey back on the screen and having a shitload of fun. Everybody in this movie is having a grand old time. This movie has a great message about people that really don't fit in, or people that may seem kind of awkward or out of place within today's world, that there are people out there that care about them. And I thought that that was a message that this movie really hammered home to a T. I love that message. It speaks volumes to a lot of people. It speaks volumes to a lot of people in society. Sometimes you just need a feel-good message like that in a movie like this. This movie really hit the nail in the coffin on that message. And it just shows that once you make some friends, sometimes friends can be friends forever. And I love that message. Just positive messages like that in movies that kind of just make you feel good inside, you know? They kind of tug at those heartstrings. Like those types of things. There's a lot of fun sequences in here. A lot of them you saw in the trailers, but there's a couple of action sequences where I was just like, you know what? Yes. This is the kind of stupidity and absurdity that I need in this type of movie. And I was having a grand old time just watching it unfold on screen. How Sonic was going to defeat Robotnik. How James Marsden's character was going to defeat Robotnik. Basically, how these two were left to their own devices to try and take down this enemy. It's also got some fairly good humor, especially with, I think the actress's name is Tika Sumpter. Her character has a sister in the movie. That sister is one of the funniest parts of the movie. I died laughing at anything she said. Great comedy there. Even Sonic has some great comedy, but it's more with that sister character. Oh my god. And when Sonic starts calling James Marsden the Donut Lord, I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go, but in the end, I ended up really liking that aspect of the movie. When it comes to problems that I have with Sonic the Hedgehog is that it feels a really cliche. This definitely feels like something that's a been there, done that type of movie. It definitely feels like something that we've seen before, obviously. Like, this honestly feels like, to me, it had the same tone and the same vibe that Pokemon Detective Pikachu had. And for me, that just kind of took me out of the movie for a minute. I feel like every kid's or family movie is the same exact thing now, just different situations, different characters, different scenarios. At its core, the same exact thing. And I felt like we saw that with Detective Pikachu, and I feel like it's just the same thing in this movie. So it does have a huge lack of originality in that regard. Also, I really don't think this movie's gonna be all that memorable in the long run. run. I mean, I can't even remember James Marsden's character's name. That should tell you a lot right there. There's also things in here that don't really make sense when you kind of think about it. I get it, it's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's really not supposed to make sense. But there are some things where it's just like, I don't really think that's possible. I don't really buy that, but you just kind of got to go along with it as well. Those are really some issues I have, and then it does get a bit fan servicey towards the end of the movie, especially the mid-credit scene. Huge fan service and definitely a setup for a sequel. I really went into Sonic the Hedgehog thinking I was going to tear this movie apart and thinking it was going to be one of the worst movies of the year. I actually had quite a fun time with it, surprisingly. I'm gonna give it my middle popcorn rating, but I mean, would I watch this movie again? Like, if I have 98 minutes to kill, yeah, I'd watch this movie again. It's definitely a watchable movie. It's a fun family movie. Just, you have kids, take them to go see Sonic the Hedgehog this weekend. I mean, there's nothing else out right now. I mean, might as well just go see Sonic the Hedgehog. I think you'll have a grand old time, and you might laugh in a couple parts too. And make sure you bring those donuts for your kids. With all that being said, Sonic isn't a great movie. I'm gonna say you're really gonna dig Sonic the Hedgehog, even if you have that half bucket of popcorn. So those are my thoughts on Sonic. Again, thought I was gonna walk away hating this thing. I ended up kinda liking it. So, I mean, I don't know. If I'm the only one, I guess I'm in the minority. No idea. Guys, what did you think of Sonic the Hedgehog? Drop me some feedback in the comment section below. I will leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You will find all my links to my social media accounts there. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for more reviews and more James Bond reviews coming very soon. And No Time to Die theme song. Ooh, it's a little rough. Maybe a video for another day, but thank you guys for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.